What is Solana? Solana is an open-source project that implements a high-performance and permission-free blockchain. If the transactions are not more than 176 bytes on average, then it is possible that a central database will process 710,000 transactions per second on a standard gigabit network. A centralized database is also able to replicate itself and maintain high availability without significantly sacrificing this processing speed using the distributed system technique known as optimistic concurrency control. The most striking difference between algorithms obtained with the algorithms, based between Solana timed timeouts, the use of traditional processes in a distributed algorithm to produce the induction of where you work, while at the same time if Solana's doing the same thing every process is to produce a globally synchronized algorithm. Although Solana seems to contradict the entire purpose of distributed processes by allowing different processes to run independently and perform different functions, if a distributed system is really a single system, the processes need to be synchronized in some way. Conceptually, the easiest way to synchronize processes is to have them all do the same thing at the same time. Therefore, Solana is used to implement a kernel that performs the necessary synchronization. Processes are able to spend only a small part of their time executing the synchronization kernel, while they can also work independently for the rest of the time. An example of this is accessing different files. This is an approach that is advocated even in cases where fault tolerance is not required. The simplicity of the method at the basic level makes it easy to understand the exact characteristics of the system. In other words, it is very important to know how fault-tolerant the system is. In addition, it can be implemented using a mechanism that has been around since the first day in Bitcoin. The Bitcoin feature, called nlock time, can be used to date transactions later by using the block height instead of a time stamp. As a Bitcoin customer, if the network cannot be trusted, the block height is used instead of the time stamp. Block height appears in cryptography circles as an example of a verifiable delay function. This is a cryptographically secure way of saying that time has passed. In Solana, a much more detailed verifiable delay function, the SHA-256 hash chain, is used to check the ledger and coordinate consensus. With this hash chain, optimistic concurrency control is being implemented, which is currently theoretically making progress towards the limit of 710,000 transactions per second. What is Solana B? Solana is known as a highly functional open-source project that relies on the intrusive nature of blockchain technology to provide decentralized finance solutions. The idea and initial work on the project started in 2017, while Solana was officially launched in March 2020 by the Solana Foundation, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. The Solana protocol is designed to facilitate decentralized application creation. It aims to improve scalability by offering a proof-of-history consensus combined with the underlying proof-of-stake consensus of the blockchain. Due to the innovative hybrid consensus model, Solana attracts the attention of both individuals engaged in small-scale trading and institutions engaged in institutional trading. An important focus for the Solana Foundation is to make decentralized finance accessible on a larger scale. Sol is called the name of Solana's local token, which can be transmitted to nodes in the Solana cluster in exchange for running a program on a chain or verifying its output. The system is able to perform micropayments of fractional sols called Lamport. The SOL is named in honor of Leslie Lamport, Solana's greatest technical influence. A Lamport has a left value of 0.0000000001. What is the Solana Set? The concept of a cluster is known as a set of computers that work together in the field of networks and can be viewed as a single system from the outside. The Solana cluster is called an independently owned cluster of computers that work together to verify the output of untrusted, user-submitted programs. A Solana set can be used when users want to maintain a record of immutable transactions over time or programmatic interpretations of these events. One use may be to monitor which computers are doing meaningful work to keep the cluster running, while another use may be to monitor the ownership of real-world assets. In both cases, the cluster produces an account book that records the given operations. The Solana cluster is constantly being protected. As long as any individual anywhere in the world keeps a copy of the notebook, the output of their program will be reproducible forever, regardless of the organization that started it. Solana disclaimer. All claims, content, designs, algorithms, estimates, roadmaps, specifications and performance measurements described in the Solana project are made with the best performance of the author. It is left to the reader to check and confirm its accuracy. In addition, no detail in this project constitutes an investment request. Who are the founders of Solana? The most important person behind Solana is known as Anatoly Yakovenko. Yakovenko began his professional career at Qualcomm, where he quickly rose and became a senior personnel engineer manager in 2015. Later, his path changed in professional life and he entered a new position as a software engineer at Dropbox. In 2017, Yakovenko began working on a project that would later become known as Solana. Working with his Qualcomm colleague Greg Fitzgerald, they founded a project called Solana Labs. During this process, the Solana protocol and the SOL token, which also attracted the attention of several former Qualcomm colleagues, were presented to the public in 2020. What makes Solana special? One of the important innovations that Solana has brought to the cryptocurrency world is the proof of history consensus developed by Anatoly Yakovenko. This concept makes the protocol more scalable, which increases usability. Solana is known for the incredibly short processing times offered by the blockchain in the field of cryptocurrency. Solana's hybrid protocol provides significantly reduced verification times for both transaction and smart contract execution. With these very fast processing times, Solana has also attracted corporate attention. The Solana protocol aims to serve both small-scale users and corporate customers in the same way. The protocol is designed to have low processing costs while guaranteeing scalability and fast processing. Overview of Solana documentation. The Solana documentation describes the Solana open source project, which is a blockchain built for scale from scratch. It discusses why Solana is useful, how to use it, how it works, and why it will continue to work even after the Solana company closes its doors. The purpose of the Solana system is to demonstrate that there are a number of software algorithms that, when used together to implement the blockchain, eliminate software as a performance gateway and allow transaction throughput to scale proportionally to network bandwidth. The system continues to meet all three desired characteristics of a suitable blockchain. They are scalability, reliability, and decentralization. The system defines a theoretical upper limit of 710,000 transactions per second and 28.4 million transactions per second on 40 gigabits on a standard gigabit network. In addition, the structure of the system supports the safe and simultaneous execution of programs written in general-purpose programming languages such as C or Rust. How many Solana coins are there on the market? The Solana Foundation has announced that a total of 489 million SOL tokens will be released in circulation. In the current time frame, about 260 million of them have entered the Sunday. The distribution of SOL tokens is as follows: 16.23% were given to the first seed sale, 12.92% of the tokens were given to the organization sale, 12.79% of the SOL tokens were distributed among the team members, and 10.46% of the tokens were given to December Solana Foundation. The remaining tokens have already been released for public and private sales or will continue to be released. How is the Solana network protected? Solana relies on the unique combination of proof of history and proof of stake consensus mechanisms. Since it is responsible for a large part of the transactions, the proof of the past is recognized as the main component of the Solana protocol. PoE records successful operations and the time December between them, ensuring the unreliable nature of the blockchain. The proof of stake consensus, on the other hand, validates every block array it generates, using it as a monitoring tool for PoE processes. The combination of the two consensus mechanisms makes Solana a unique phenomenon in the blockchain industry.